So this has been, so 2020 is the year of the pivot. We talk about it in our house. We talk about that word all the time, pivot. And, my daughters have had to pivot. We've all had to pivot. Everyone's pivoting right now. What are some ways that you feel like in 2020, you pivoted from what you hoped 2020 would be to what it turned out to be, to moving into 2021?
Yeah, that's a great question. What I expected 2020 to be was the year of epic press tours for Barbland. I was meant to go to Paris for the launch of Beachbody France. I had all these trips planned. I had 3 international retreats planned for the end of the year. Of course, all of that was canceled. And, the first impulse, I think, is a little bit of like, whoa, that's like a lot of change. Disappointed. And then the next, I think one of the things that helped me pivot, the thing that happened first was, it's okay to have emotions. It's okay to feel sad or upset or confused or whatever your emotions are in the moment. So I let myself kind of feel that. I let myself process it. I didn't say right as soon as I got the news that Punta Cana was canceled and then Summit was canceled and everything's canceled. I wasn't like, that's okay, let's pivot. I'm like, I'm going to pivot. But in order to do that, I don't want to push my feelings down. I want to feel. And that's something I encourage people to do. I think society has taught us that feelings are bad and like nice girls don't get angry and happy people never get sad, so I think that's one of the first things that I allowed myself to do. Not an indulgent amount of time, but, just process, feel, move, see how I was doing. And then the next thing that came shortly after that draws from that I think was one of the most useful tools for me as an extrovert. And my particular reaction to COVID, which was challenging, maybe more so than for naturally introverted people, was I still had that need to connect and share. So I think one of the main ways I pivoted is shifting that to online, right? And instead of just being like, hey, here's a great Barbland move, or here's how you can burn more calories or lose weight, I would just authentically share about myself. I'd be like, today is challenging. I was supposed to be in Punta Cana today, and instead I'm not, I'm home. But because I came to the bar this morning, I did Barbland, I know that this is an opportunity. I can get more rest. I can catch up on sleep, but I would share sort of what I was feeling challenged by and how I was able to turn it into a positive. Because I've had to do that before. I had, my career-ending injury. I had to turn it from an obstacle to an opportunity. If you've done Beachbody, you may have heard like my fertility journey. I had to pivot from, a few years of efforts to become a mom to knowing that wasn't in the cards for me, and how can I keep that nurturing going. And it ended up manifesting so beautifully for me in pre and postnatal Barbland, helping moms. So it allows me to feel like, okay, that nurturing mom part of me that is not going to manifest in my own genetic child can manifest in helping other women and men raise kids. So I think it was really if I was to sum up the pivot in one word, it would be repurposing my thought process around, what my expectations were, what I wanted the timeline to be, to how can I reframe my thoughts about reality and make the most of it. And so I think, really this rich online community that is BOD and communicating with BOD groups who are doing Barbland and focusing on the other thing that I did, I guess this would be the third and last thing, is it's really an opportunity to evaluate what and who is elevating you and who is important and who isn't, because I think what we let go of is just as important as what we invite in.
Yes.
And you experience some of the same things then.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you said that, because I think, so, what the first reaction is for all of us as humans, and especially women, I think, who are just a little bit more in touch with our emotions, is to sit in that loss and that cancellation. And as parents, as moms, to not only sit in your own, but to sit in your kids too, and to watch those losses and those cancellations. Okay, so let me absorb all that. Let me process all that. Let me pivot. Let's keep going. And as you said, you got to give yourself a little time to go, well, that one, that stings a little bit more than that one. And to know that sometimes those days are oddly they're out of order for some, like all of a sudden you might be sad for one day, and you're like, wait, that happened 6 months ago. Like, why is it today? And it's just sort of the way 2020 is.